From news and views, issues and opportunities, we'll have in-depth conversations with decision makers to find out what they know and what they think. I'm Rico Hizon, inviting you to this last episode of The Exchange for 2023. Happy New Year, everyone, because your business is our business. Just like that, 2023 comes to an end. The past 12 months have been full of challenges and milestones that make up the Philippine growth story. New opportunities for expansion and development await the economy this 2024. The challenge now is ensuring Filipinos find their own success, and for enterprises, hitting fresh targets and reaching greater heights in the year ahead. The vision of Philippine business in 2024 in our C-Suite Vision. The Philippines has had its fair share of economic ups and downs this year. What does 2024 hold for the country? Let's now have an exchange with the International Monetary Fund Resident Representative for the Philippines, Ragnar Gudmundsson. Happy New Year, Ragnar. Great to have you with us on the exchange.
Happy New Year, Rico. It's a pleasure to be on the exchange.
So, how would you assess the Philippine growth story in 2023? Was it positive or negative?
Yes, I think overall it was positive, especially if you compare the Philippines with the global environment and developments in the region. The growth was not as strong in 2023 as in 2022. But really, 2022 was a very strong year in terms of economic growth. We had 7.6%, and we're projecting that 2023, growth will reach 5.3%.
Which is below the target of the Philippine Central Bank of 6 to 7%. But the big question now is, yes, we have all of these numbers, 7%, 6%, 5%, but did many of my kababayans, many Filipinos experience this growth?
I think, yes, if you look at private consumption in the Philippines, it was still strong in 2023. We saw that there was some slowdown in government spending, also a slowdown in private investment, but overall private consumption remained strong, and the economy did also continue to benefit from the role of remittances. So we still had a strong private consumption environment. Of course, there's really a need to ensure that, the benefits of this growth reach everyone.
Over the past decades, the story has always been the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer. Are we seeing now this gap being narrowed under this administration?
Well, what we had seen was that the poverty indicators had been improving quite significantly until the pandemic hit. After the pandemic, we did see some deterioration in the poverty indicators, but I think that now, as growth has been picking up in the post-pandemic phase, we're going to see a reduction in poverty levels. And the administration objective is indeed to reach single-digit poverty levels by 2028. And it's on track.
We've seen the Marcos administration attracting tens of billions of dollars in investment pledges from various Western countries. When will Filipinos feel the impact, the benefits of these investment pledges through foreign direct investments and new jobs?
Well, there's always a lag between a commitment to invest and the actual realization of the investment. But I think what's positive is that really we've seen a much stronger interest by foreign investors for the Philippines economy in several sectors, in energy, in transport, in telecommunications, in mining, in renewable energies and the green transition, the green revolution. So there is genuine interest.
There is genuine interest, but in these sectors like energy, transportation, mining, but what about manufacturing? That has been a weak point of the Philippines, manufacturing the goods here and exporting them overseas.
I think for that, there are two priorities that when I meet with foreign investors, they mention to me that often, the challenges to them stem from energy costs and also from transportation challenges. So I think these are two priority areas that we need to focus on, and kind of investing in the energy transition becomes key, and strengthening transportation networks.
What must also be done for the agricultural sector?
I think in the agricultural sector, it's really it needs to be a multi-pronged approach. I think there's a need to address shortages in the short term when there are food shocks, but also to invest in the agricultural over the long term. What does that mean? It means that in the short term, when we do see food prices increasing, I think we need to liberalize imports in order to make cheaper food items accessible to urban consumers, for instance. I think that's a priority. I think already the rice tariffication law was a good move, but I think we could also expand that law to include other commodities, basically to ease the burden of higher food prices on urban consumers. If we look at the medium to the long term, there needs to be a simultaneous effort to invest in the productivity and the competitiveness of the agricultural sector in the Philippines. That means investing in equipment, that means promoting financial inclusion in rural areas.
How much support can the Philippines expect from the International Monetary Fund in 2024?
Well, the Philippines' position in terms of its balance of payments is strong. The macroeconomic environment is strong. So that the kind of support that can be provided by the IMF most usefully for the Philippines right now is in terms of policy advice, whether it's for the budget or monetary policy, but also technical assistance, basically to strengthen the economic institutions of the country.
What is the economic forecast of the IMF for the Philippines in 2024, inflation and the peso-dollar exchange rate?
Okay, so first of all, in terms of GDP, we consider that the kind of downturn in growth that happened in 2023 is already bottoming out, and that growth is going to pick up next year to move from 5.3% to 6%. This means that the Philippines' growth rates will still be the second highest in ASEAN, right after Cambodia, and is comparing very favorably with what's happening in the rest of the world, where we are seeing a slowdown. So the economy in the Philippines will be picking up next year, while the rest of the global economy will see a decline. In terms of inflation, I think we've seen very good progress on this front. We have seen headline inflation coming down to 4.1% in November, and we estimate that the inflation will be back to the Philippines' target range of 2 to 4% in the early part of 2024.
And the peso-dollar exchange rate?
I would say that the exchange rate situation in the Philippines has been stable. The central bank is using the flexibility of the exchange rate as a first line of defense against external shocks. And if you combine that with sound monetary policy, which is what the BSP has been doing over the last year, then we're on track to ensure that the macro environment remains stable.
Looking forward to a much better and more prosperous 2024 for the Philippine economy. Ragnar, Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for this Economic Outlook Exchange IMF Resident Representative for the Philippines, Ragnar Gudmundsson. And coming up on the exchange, where your business is our business. Looking for new opportunities for the new year? We'll find out the work trends for 2024 with Job Street Philippines. And what opportunities await Filipino enterprises in the year ahead? We speak to a women's business group. Straight ahead, right here on CNN Philippines. News you can trust.